Hello, welcome to the Free Bin, the Toledo, Oregon Public Library's podcast. I'm Harrison. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend coming up here. We are going to be closed this Saturday. We'll be open again on Tuesday, and I have a short Reader's Advisory episode on that topic for you today. Dr. King's impact on the civil rights movement and beyond is such that his name, words, and legacy have been used, reused, claimed, co-opted, cherry-picked, misattributed, reinterpreted, and misinterpreted by innumerable people, movements, and organizations for innumerable aims. Thus, it is important to periodically revisit what King and his fellow civil rights activists of the time actually stood for. It's important also to remember the context of the time, who supported them, who opposed them, and what shape this support and opposition took. There is a saying, itself of dubious origin, but often attributed to Mark Twain, that history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Today I'll be sharing a few titles that take a look at this relatively recent history so that we might better recognize the meter. First, and I'm sure we've mentioned this on the podcast before, is March by Congressman John Lewis and Andrew Aydin. This is a graphic nonfiction trilogy about the civil rights movement, graphic as in like a comic book. It's got pictures. So it reads quick. It's really fascinating. It's from John Lewis's perspective. Of course, he was close with Dr. King. We have that in our nonfiction section for you. And you should come and check it out if you're into graphic nonfiction. You know, we have a small but mighty collection of graphic nonfiction works here at the library. Another title you might check out is Hellhound on His Trail by Hampton. This book details the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. and the manhunt for his killer in the context of the civil rights movement in the United States and the broader discourse surrounding the assassination and the civil rights movement. Another one pertaining to Dr. King's assassination is The Kneeling Man by Leta McCollough Seletzky. This is written by the daughter of Merrill McCollough, who can be seen in a famous photo from the immediate aftermath of King's assassination. He's kneeling on the ground and holding a towel to King's head. Now, Merrill McCollough was actually a CIA agent tasked with infiltrating and gathering intelligence on black activist groups. So this is some interesting stuff, of course, written by the daughter of Merrill McCollough, and it grapples with the complexities and contradictions of that situation, and how Merrill McCollough, viewed his role, as a black man and a CIA agent, and it's fascinating stuff. I don't feel like I can summarize it here, but, check it out. Another one here, this one's a movie, so you can watch it. You don't even have to read it. MLK FBI. This is a documentary about the FBI's monitoring of Dr. King and its attempts to undermine and discredit him by spying on his private life. That's in our DVD section. I'm going to put it out on display for you on our podcast display shelf. And the last one I'm going to recommend here is My Life, My Love, My Legacy by Coretta Scott King, as told to the Reverend Dr. Barbara Reynolds. This is a biography of author and activist Coretta Scott King. Of course, Martin Luther King was her husband at the time of his death. And Coretta Scott King was a prominent and influential figure in the civil rights movement throughout her life until she died in 2006 at the age of 78. So that's all I've got for you this week. Have a great weekend out there, and we will talk to you next week. Bye. The Free Bin is a production of the Toledo Public Library, which is part of the Lincoln County Library District in beautiful Lincoln County, Oregon. Writing by Harrison Baker, Cindy Balek, and Denise Marsh. Original music and editing by Harrison Baker. That's me. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect those of any organizations they represent. Good night.